The golden rule is a lie. The rule you actually have to know is the platinum rule. But before you even know the platinum rule, in order to apply it, you have to understand the 4 different types of people, the 4 different personalities that make up different people so that you can motivate them better, you can coach them better, and you can build a high-performing team. Let's dive into understanding the 4 different types of personalities and how you can work with them better. One of the ways that we want to understand this is understand this on a 2x2 axis. The first is a little north and south. At the top of this axis is what we've got. We've got people who are, we call task-oriented individuals. These are people who care about getting the job done, getting things done. You ask them, how was their day? They go, oh, it was great. I got a lot of things done. I was productive. And at the south end of the spectrum is you've got people-oriented people. If you ask them about how their day was, they go, oh, it was great. I got to meet Fahd. I got to meet Matt. I got to spend some time with Sean. It was great. They are focused on the people in their life. They're relationship focused. And so this is a spectrum, right? So there are people that fall on the top end of the spectrum and the bottom end of the spectrum, and some people a little bit somewhere in the middle. And then we've got the other axis where we go from west to east. And on the east side here, what we're looking at are folks that are looking at their pacing. This is key to understand pacing. And so on this side, we've got people who are fast-paced. These are my sprinters. They're quick, they're fast, they go at the activities that they want to do. On the other side, a little slower pace. And don't think slower pace is a negative thing. No, these are my marathoners. These people are steady. What you get here, if you ask the fast-paced people, you ask them, oh, what do you like to do on your time off? Go, I like to meet with people. I like to be outdoors. They could do activities. They're movement. They have motion. And you ask them the other side, on the slower pace, you go, oh, what do you like to do in your downtime? They go, I like to read a book. I like to sit by the fire. I like to hang out with some friends. It's more calm. And so you get this different areas. But there's a little bit more that we can add to this. On the north end of things, you also get the task people who are a little bit more guarded in their emotions. So we call these people a little bit more guarded. They don't wear their emotions on their sleeve. They sort of hold off a little bit. They kind of keep it to themselves. On this side of the spectrum, these people are a little bit more open. They tell you how they feel. They wear their emotion on their sleeve. They talk about emotions. They're more vulnerable. They like to share. They'll cry in front of people, no problem. On the east side of things here, we got people that are a little more direct, and they'll sort of say what they mean. They'll be able to actually talk about the things that they want. While on this side, they're a little more indirect. They beat around the bush and they won't say exactly what they mean right away. They'll sort of dance around it. Okay, so we've got these areas. Now what happens here is when I draw a circle around this, you get 4 different groupings of people and 4 different personalities. The first personality that we're going to look at is our D personality. Our D personality is the direct personality. It's also considered the dominant personality. My D personality, the one thing they care about more than anything else is results. This is the determined, direct, dominant, decisive personality. They are task-oriented and they're fast-paced. They're a little bit guarded with their emotion, but they're direct with you. The saying we use for them is the good old Nike saying, they care about just do it. They want to get things done. So our next personality is the I personality. The I personality stands for influence. Influence personality is the inspiring personality. They inspire people to move. They're fast-paced, so they're excited and they're moving and they're people-oriented. And so they're all actually about fun and relationships. Their saying is have fun doing it. Because just doing it is not enough. Not like the D personalities who are just trying to get the result and move on. The I's want to create an environment that is fun, that is enjoyable, that is sociable for everyone on the team. The next personality is what we call the S personality. And the S personality, they're people-oriented just like your I's, but they're slower pace. They're marathon. They're more indirect. So the I's are direct people-oriented, but the S is indirect. This is the supportive. In the supportive group, they're steady, calm. They're the team player. They care about harmony. They care about bringing people together, making people feel good, making sure that people's opinions are taken in and that people's emotions are considered. And so if the D's are just do it and the I's are have fun doing it, the S's are let's do it together. Our fourth personality are the C personality. And C's personalities, they're similar to D's in that they're task-oriented and they're guarded, but they're similar to S's in the sense that they are indirect and they are slower pace marathoners. The C's are the cautious personality, cautious or conscientious. They are systematic and methodical. They are analytical. The C's care about the right answer. They care about quality of things, excellence. And so if the D's are just do it and the I's are have fun doing it and the S's are let's do it together, the C's are do it right. The C's care about making sure that you've researched things, that you have data over things. Now, I always joke that a C will create a spreadsheet to analyze what bag to buy. Like that's where we get to with our C's. Our C's, they could be your accountants. They could be your software engineers. They are usually a very analytical, methodical group of people who want to plan, who want to create a steady state, who want to figure out the right answer of things and how the best way to do it. Now, when you put these four different personalities together in a room, you get some really fun, interesting things. Because what you realize is that people have different styles. And our personalities really determine our temperament of how we show up. Maybe how we show up in a meeting. You'll call a meeting and the D will come to a meeting having already decided what they want out of the meeting. Well, I've already made a decision how we're going to do this project. And then the I's will come in and go, well, okay, that's your decision, but like, is this going to be fun? Is this going to be enjoyable? How do we make this more fun and enjoyable that we can all do it together? And the S's will say, have we consulted everyone on this decision? Have we made sure that everyone actually agrees on it? And the C's will go, well, do you have more data on this? So each of these personalities has strengths, but they also have weaknesses. They also have areas where they struggle. Let me walk you through how each personality's strength in the extreme becomes their biggest challenge. So I told you D's are very decisive. The D's issue is that they're very decisive and they want to just move very quickly. But when they move very quickly, they become a bull in a china shop. The D's sometimes don't take into account other people's emotions because they're just running through things. So the D's biggest issue is they're so decisive, they want to run so quickly that they can forget everyone's emotions and come off as the asshole of the group. The I's, on the other hand, they're excitable, they're sociable, and they have a million ideas. Their superpower is ideas. They come up with a ton of ideas, and they're always brainstorming, they're always thinking about what's next, and they're really good at influencing people. But because their superpower is ideas, their weakness is focus. Often they get bored quickly. They jump from one idea to the next. A lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of founders actually fall into this category that they can't focus on one thing long enough. They'll jump from one idea to another because they're excited about what's next. And it's not fun anymore at one point. The S personality, I told you their superpower is that they're team players. They really allow people to gel and they bring people together. But because they are so supportive and they are so kind and they are yes people always trying to support, their weakness is that they don't know how to say no. And they get maybe stepped all over, they get pushed, and they're not able to actually say no and set some boundaries on what they need and what they need from the team. Our C personalities, well, they are analytical. I told you their superpower is finding the right answer, finding the answer of what we actually need to do, how to analyze that data to make the best decision because they never like making the wrong decision. But their weakness is analysis paralysis. And they'll get stuck in the decision and be too slow to actually make the decision. And so what you notice in these personalities is that it's their strength in the extreme form that actually becomes their weakness, that becomes something that they struggle with. And so what we need to do as leaders is if I can understand where my team members are, and if as I was explaining this, you could think of like, yeah, that team member is very direct, or that team member, yeah, they're very cautious and analytical. That team member is always the supportive and kind one. This one's the influential one that likes to do all the presentations. If you sort of know where your team members fall, you can start giving them assignments. You can start helping in your one-on-ones. You can start coaching them based on the different personality styles and what they need to succeed. So let's finish this video with understanding what they need to succeed, which is ultimately the platinum rule. The platinum rule is that we have to treat others how they want to be treated. You might be an I personality. And so how you want to be treated is you want big ideas and lots of room to brainstorm and have fun. So you treat everyone that way. But if you treat the C personality the way you are, an I personality, you get some conflict here. You get some real conflict between the I's and the C's, because the C's want a very specific, structured way of thinking, and the I's want free-form brainstorming. So the C's think the I's are just aloof all over the place, and the I's think the C's are boring. And so you get conflict across the spectrum. And the same thing happens with the D's and the S's. They have conflict across here. The D's want to go, go, go. They want to make a decision. They want to perform. They want to be decisive. But the S's want to slow it down, and they want to consult everyone. They want to make sure everyone's involved. So the D's think the S's are soft and emotional and slow, and the S's think the D's are dicks and they don't care about anyone. And so all the personalities are always trying to do their best based on their skill set. But what happens is that it clashes with the other personality. And so oftentimes we mistake standards for styles. We think other people aren't holding our standards. They're not good enough team members, but really their style is different. And what you need to do to apply the platinum rule is understand their style so that you can put them in their strengths. So let's talk about each one's strengths. D's, their strengths is when they are given control and an opportunity to lead and make decisions. That is when you'll find the D at their best. Let them be the front of the group. Let them run the group and let them run the charge. Give them room to actually lead. Our I's are best when you're giving them white space, a lot of open space to brainstorm, and a lot of open space to have discussions with people. The worst thing you can do for an I is make them work on a project by themselves. They want to work with other people. They want to brainstorm off other people. They want to actually be able to bounce ideas back and forth so they can come up with something together. And they want to be in social environments. I think the I's struggled the most with the remote work because they're now behind a screen and they're no longer in relationships as much. For the S's, you have to give them space to digest new ideas. S's don't like to change right away. So if you want your S to be effective, you want to send something in advance to allow them to think about it. You want to send something in advance to allow them to chew on it and consider it. And they will be in their best environment when they are supporting leaders, when they are supporting the team, when they are the helper and the person who could actually be there. The S's would have come up with the saying, no person left behind. So in order to make sure that the S is doing well, you want to put them in a team environment and you want to give them room to actually really think through things in a steady state and not change things on them too much. The C's do best when you actually give them room to analyze. Give them a research question. Give them a big question. Allow them to research. Allow them to go and find different information. Allow them to tinker and think. Don't make them make a decision right away the way a D wants to. Allow the C to actually be conscientious, be cautious, be methodical, and allow them to create the approach that the rest of the team. C's like processes. They like building the systems. So if you need someone on your team to build systems, someone needs to build those SOPs. Someone needs to build that process. And you're like, I can't build this process. I never have time. The C's like to build processes where everyone actually comes together. Now, here's the final thought here I'll have for you. If you're a leader and you're thinking about how you lead based on these personalities, let me show you how each personality leads slightly differently. This is a drawing of a platoon, right? Let's think about it as a whole group of people in here and how different personalities are going to lead. The D personalities, they lead right from the front. I told you that they like to take charge. They like to run with it. Our I personalities, they lead right here, right in the middle. They like to be the storytellers of the group to bring everyone together. The S personalities, they like to lead from the back, make sure that everyone's supported, everyone has what they need. And then the C personalities, they actually lead from the side here. They make sure everyone has a system, everyone has what they need, everyone has a process. And so when it comes to leadership, oftentimes the mistake we make is that we think we need to be these big, charismatic like gregarious leaders like, I watched Steve Jobs or Elon Musk, and they have these big personalities. No, you will lead best if you lead from a position of strength and a position that aligns with your personality. It's not about changing your personality. It's about finding the strength in your personality so that you can lead and ultimately follow the platinum rule, which is to treat others how they want to be treated and for you to lead from your position of strength.